Hi everybody, Paul back here. Hope everybody is good and well. And looking at the 101 Films label here in the UK. Picked up over the last few months quite a few titles, and each one I receive just enjoy so very much, and thought it was well over time, well overdue to share some of this goodness with you just in case there's some of you out there that have not had the benefit of being aware of 101 Films, which is probably unlikely, or perhaps only picked up a couple of titles and interested in some more. Well, there's quite a little bundle here, and casting my eyes with full beamed glowingness over, and starting out with the Colossus of New York. Oh, what a great way to start indeed. Blu-ray goodness of one of the classics. Now with 101 Films, they've got sort of three tiers of movie releases, I would say. We've got their Black Label range, which is a premium collector's range, which tends to be around the £15 mark, and with those what you get is the Blu-ray, a booklet, and a nice hard card slip cover. We'll look at a few of those coming up. But also we've got their Red Label, which is again, you get the Blu-ray and a slip cover, nice slip cover, and they work out at about £12. And then we get some of their really still very cool films under their regular catalogue titles, which gives you Blu-ray DVD combo mostly, and you get sometimes cards and often a retro poster, and you get those for about £10. So all in, some really good value releases for all price ranges, sort of pockets, and they also do quite a few sales, a couple of sales a year, so you can get some of those titles for as little as about £6, and they really do offer a great deal of value, as well as some really classic films. Anyway, let's dive right on into it. This is a Red Label one. We'll start with the Red Label one. So this brand new, it's about £12, and I say the Colossus of New York. Such a good film. I mean, I only discovered this to watch myself in the last year, and I picked it up first on American NTSC DVD. This is a Blu-ray UK Region B version, but they don't skimp on anything. You get lots of nice bonus features here if you want to just have a little look at that, but also you get them in their original aspect ratio, 16:9 friendly as well. So you've got your 16:9 TVs, you're going to get those pictures expanded across the fullness of the screen, which is absolutely wonderful stuff. Good old classic 1958 black and white sci-fi horror film here. A brilliant but selfish, arrogant surgeon puts his dead son's brain into a giant robot body, very Frankenstein-esque in this one. And of course the resultant madness comes out of the horror as the son rejects the body and strikes out with some horrific results. And it really is pretty strong stuff even today. I found this just collects that sci-fi futuristic feel with some real shock moments that have really stood up and stood the test of time. Most definitely, it really is a stylish sci-fi ahead of its time piece, and really is good stuff. If you love your sci-fi with a hint of the horror, this most definitely is one to check out. If not, dare I say, highly recommend to just go blind buy. I mean, it just is that good. Really terrific stuff. I really do like this one a lot. Now, the director of the film is a guy called Eugene Laurie, and he lived in France and studied art and design work, but he was Russian-born filmmaker, and his effects work and design are quite brilliant, it must be said, and evident here, most definitely, in the Colossus of New York, and very much comparable to the great Ray Harryhausen, who actually did the animation effects on Laurie's 1953 directed The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. But also do check out Laurie's other creature feature greats, The Giant Behemoth from 1959, and Gorgo. Gorgo is pretty much known to most people, I think. Certainly a very good British-made horror monster creature feature that was made in the wake of Godzilla, and very much stands up extremely well to that. Very colourful, colour-made film, and just absolutely gorgeous to look at. But the director, Laurie, also did an episode for TV's 1959 made World of Giants, which paved the way for the 60s classic TV series Land of the Giants. So this guy really, really knows his stuff, and one of those guys, I guess, is a little bit overlooked, and undeservedly so. He definitely is worth your time and trouble to seek out his movies and learn a little bit more about, for sure. But there we go, side by side, the movie itself on Blu-ray and the slipcover edition. Nothing different. I mean, it's the same artwork on both sides, but it's always very, very nice indeed to have the slipcover editions. Highly collectible, and 101 Films, as I say, do a very, very creditable job on releasing these. Very nice indeed. Colossus of New York. Good stuff indeed. Let's just slide that one out of the way and bring in the next one. Another good monster movie matinee creature feature, The Land Unknown. Nice red boxed edition there. It's from 1957, this one, another black and white. This is from the sort of regular catalogue edition. I was just thinking then, I was just going to say that really with the red label, I'm surprised because this one I noticed has got a red casing for the Blu-ray. Would have been quite good if the red casing were applied to the red label titles, but there we go, never mind. Great artwork there, as you can see, absolutely fantastic. Simple story. This one's sort of a lost deep in the crater in Antarctica, where we've got an expedition discovers a prehistoric world. But this isn't just like your sort of Land of the Lost. I mean, well, you get that sort of, you get these sort of lizards that are on screen. They get a little bit of sort of practical effects sort of glued onto their back, and they've got a scale. Doesn't look all that authentic, but still good fun. But this has got some real, very well done, handcrafted practical effects creatures that just come to life. I haven't seen this one, but I've seen the trailer. And as soon as I saw the trailer, I just knew this had to be mine. It had to be mine. Just so very good it looks, and it's just one of those ones that puts a big smile on your face. And delighted to have bagged it. If you like your creature features, your matinee monster movies, this most definitely. But if you've never heard of it, go for it. Pick it up, or just do as I did. Go on to YouTube or on the internet, do some research for yourself, and check out the trailer for The Land Unknown. And I think that you will be very pleased that you took the time and trouble to do that, and may well, very well then do the same as I did. Immediately seek it out, pick it up, and looking forward to watching it. This one's by a director called Virgil Vogel, who actually also did another terrific 101 release called The Mole People from 1956. And again, off the back of watching The Mole People, which I did pick up from 101, this again was absolutely an easy investment piece because The Mole People is terrific. Now, Virgil Vogel has been around in the business for a good long time, and after he did his movies in 50s into the early 60s, I think he then went into a lot of TV work, and from the 70s into the 80s and beyond he did some directing work and classic TV shows like Airwolf, $6 Million Man, Miami Vice, Knight Rider, and a programme that's recently been put back out onto DVD, which I've been hankering after for a long, long time. Good classic show from late 70s, 1979, The Fantastic Journey. He directed an episode of that, and that one stars Jared Martin and Roddy McDowall, another classic show. But Land Unknown, just can't wait for that horror monster prehistoric goodness to dive into that. Good afternoon viewing material for certain. Good stuff. Look very much forward to that. Speaking again of classic stuff, of course, we've got to go old school again. Project X, and this is from director William Castle, who I'm sure to any sci-fi horror fan is extremely well known. He really is the director and producer and great proponent of the gimmicks to promote films and entertain audiences, which he did gloriously well throughout the decades, really 50s, 60s, into the 70s, right through. I think the last produced film he did was 1975, another favourite of mine called Bug. I've got that on DVD, and another one that definitely could do with a Blu-ray release. You get the chance to see Bug, classic mid-70s monster horror film, just great fun. But again, this is one I've not seen before, but just the name William Castle definitely grabbed my attention. Bit of sci-fi goodness, and I believe there's a segment of the film that is actually animated and incorporated into the film, which might not sound anything particularly fantastic by today's standards, but of course back when this one came out, it is definitely, you know, a film that of its time, it was certainly ahead of its time. So again, very much looking forward to watching Project X. If you've seen this film, or if you've seen any of the other ones we've just looked at, please do, you know, put in the comments section what your thoughts are. Let me know how good this is, or if it's not as great as I'm hoping it to be. This, along with, you know, several of the titles we're looking at here, released for the first time on Blu-ray in the UK, and just so very pleased to be able to get hold of these in any shape or form. But with, you know, 101 films, you really cannot go wrong at all. And to have the option of being able to purchase these today in such, you know, high definition releases, original aspect ratios, uncut, just so very pleased indeed. So here we go. Is William Castle's Project X. Excellent stuff indeed, and no more so than one of my favourite 70s sci-fi piece of real classic goodness in Phase 4. This one's from 1974, and this is off of the black label, and immediately you can see there we've got the booklet, which is more than just your average booklet. It's very nicely done. I don't know how many, I think this is about sort of 60 odd pages, and it tells you all about the movie, and quite a lot of pictures inside as well, the history of the film, making of the film, behind the scenes, about the sort of people involved in front and behind the camera. Really in-depth stuff, and this is a nicely sort of hard card bound, nice high quality paper, sort of booklet, bigger than a booklet, smaller than a book, but I mean, just look at that artwork as well. I mean, that is classic artwork. I mean, that just really is. You got an ant coming out of a hand. I mean, it's just so good. Really like that a lot. And just the almost sort of post-apocalyptic end of the world scenario there. Look at that. Really good stuff. I mean, I just love this film. It's a really thought-provoking slice of possibility, as crazy as it may sound. You've got some in the story, basically, is you've got the star Nigel Davenport, who's a stubborn, typical scientist, very belligerent, won't listen to anybody else, thinks that he's right, but very good at what he does, but he's studying the ants. And all the while, as they go through each phase until we get to phase 4, he's unaware that the ants are actually studying humans, and they are becoming extremely smart. And there's some really nicely delivered thought-provoking moments and scare moments, and the ending is just so typically brilliant 70s, rendered and delivered to near perfection. I mean, if you've never seen this film, I cannot recommend it highly enough. Now, this being the black label, this is where the harder card slip comes in, and you get the alternative artwork. I mean, I love that ant with the hand. You know, that's just really good stuff. When I talk about Adam Ant and Stand and Deliver, you've got to hand it to them with that. Brilliant stuff. But this is different artwork on the front of the slightly harder card protective slip cover. There you go, just give you a little bit of a side view of that. And just a little swing over the information on the back of the slip as well. But all in, this black label of 101 Films is really very good indeed. I do like these a lot, I really do. Let me know again, please, what if you've collected 101 films, particularly these black label ones, what your favourite titles are, which ones you have got, and which ones you may be thinking about picking up in the near future. There's some really good stuff that's been coming out from them, and I just really highly anticipate any announcements from 101 Films just in general, and it's just so very good. There we go, phase 4. Keeping it going, this time more on the horror side of things, and some, again, classic throwback horror. And this one, as you recognise there, the lovely Jamie Lee Curtis, and this one's the original. And I emphasise original because I really don't have any time or care for the remake. Prom Night here, from 1980, from director Paul Lynch, who again, another guy who did quite a bit of TV work. Worked on great programmes like Tour of Duty, Beauty and the Beast, and Moonlighting. But to have Jamie Lee Curtis in your cast, alongside with Leslie Nielsen, who's in a more serious role in this one, so no Drebin Naked Gunness from him, just straight on seriousness. But Jamie Lee Curtis, I mean, she just had a golden period from the end of the 70s through until the sort of early 80s with the horror genre. I mean, she really was the queen of horror for sure. And of course her career didn't go too badly after that either. And in a bit of a resurgence, of course, with Halloween, going back to the roots of Halloween, and doing a good job with that as well. But this, another nice release, and the original of Prom Night. That artwork again is so very good. It's just the original classic styling of it, isn't it? It's just something so much nicer about that. Just having a look inside as well. Nice little shot there of Jamie Lee Curtis. Maybe doing a little bit of a step out of the shower scenario there, from following in the steps of her mother from Psycho. But again, very nicely done. It's simplistically done well, and that really is all that you can ask for. You know, if you're paying if you're paying £12, £15, which isn't too unreasonable, but you're getting this type of quality of release. And nothing too ostentatious, not over the top, nothing too clever that adds a few pounds to the title. Just give us the original poster, maybe put in some nice updated artwork like we got there. Throw in that nice 60-odd page book and nice slipcover edition, which of course just swing on in there. And again, you know, it just encompasses everything you want when you're spending your money as a collector and as a film fan on what we want, value for money. And 101, as I keep saying, and I apologise, but they've done a damn fine job and they continue to do so. So long may that please continue, because 101, you are right up there delivering the goodies, and we very much appreciate you for that. Excellent stuff. There we go, Jamie Lee Curtis with Prom Night. Good stuff indeed. Right, now this one is the latest one from 101 releases, and one that I watched just the other evening. I saw this when it first came out. It was under a different title. Can't off the top of my head remember what that original title was. But it's here, released uncut, first time on Blu-ray in the UK, under its title of The New Kids. And it is really good, a throwback 80s entertainment with a tinge, that's a new word, a tinge of good, hard, graphic, realistic violence, and a credible story to it as well. Obviously sort of a revenge flick type thing, fight for survival, but that's what you expect from the director, Sean S. Cunningham, famous of course for the Friday the 13th movies. And this one stars quite brilliantly the nasty character of James Spader and his followers, and they pick on brother and sister, played by Shannon Presby, and pretty young Lori Loughlin, whose parents die tragically, and they go to live with their uncle and move to Florida and get picked on by James Spader and his nasty cohorts. Warning on this one, even by today's standards, there is some animal violence, some not so strong stuff, but some unnecessary stuff, certainly that wouldn't probably be filmed by today's standards, but also quite cleverly integrated with pull-away cuts and replacement sort of effects work. But the impacts, for instance, of seeing James Spader pick up a shotgun and blow away a wild, not a wild dog, but one of these trained fighter dogs. It just takes you back, and you also get to see a chicken have its neck cut through, it's chopped off by a meat cleaver, and the blood dripped over these sort of dogs to enrage them to want to fight. So it's some unpalatable stuff, particularly for people who are not happy with any form of animal cruelty. As I say, there's some subtle cutaways. It's not all as real as it may seem, but certainly that chicken having its neck sliced off with the chopper is for real, done on screen. And as I say, today's standards, that just wouldn't be allowed. But it's been put through by the censor for a 15 rated movie here with The New Kids. But the movie's good, I must say, even with that. I mean, the film is very good. Very much worth watching. I'd give it if I was rating it out of 10, it's a good solid 6 out of 10. You can easily rewatch it, and these editions are just so good. And I don't know if you guys, when you've picked up these black label ones, I don't know if you've ever smelt them. They've got that nice comic book smell that is kind of like got an addiction to it, addictiveness to it, that quality. A little bit strange, I know, but there we are. That's what fans do. Give it a smell. The New Kids. But good film. As I say, it is a good, solid film. You like your stuff, sort of survival, fight back, tinge of violence and good characters. Definitely a good director, and Sean S. Cunningham. You will be interested in picking up The New Kids. It's a good one. It's definitely worth your time. Okay, let's move on again. Let's put that to one side and bring out in full glory, full screen, widescreen shot here for the last movie in this particular 101 update. Screamers. Peter Weller stars in this one. This is so very good. One of my very favourite sci-fi films. 1995, so it's not all that old. Definitely still stands up. Lovely Blu-ray release of this film. It's just Philip K. Dick written sci-fi goodness brought to the screen. I saw this on the big screen back in 95, 96. Loved it. Bought it on DVD. Probably rented it on VHS as well when it first got released to home format. To have this released by 101 Films in this Black Label edition is just absolutely brilliant. It is a classic sci-fi. They don't make them like this anymore. This is probably one of the, although it's 95, as I say, it doesn't seem that old, but considering the way films are made today, this just is one of the last great sort of post-classic sci-fi horror films that came later in the day, but still by today's standards stands up so well. It's one of those films you can watch, really enjoy, and just think, you know, did they make this a couple of years ago? Because it really truly does stand up so extremely well. I love the film, I really do. It's just so good. Forgive me on these books, I mean, I'm not going to show you very much, but it's very difficult without creasing it back, which I won't do because I respect and love these things so much. When I read them, I gingerly flick through them and keep them in as pristine condition as much as I can, in the same way that I first picked them up brand new, so I'm not going to bend that open too much. But I do absolutely love Screamers, really good, and what a good way to end on this video from my point of view. As I say, Philip K. Dick, sci-fi written goodness, directed by Christian Duguay, who also did Scanners 2 and 3, not nearly as good as Scanners, but this one stars Robocop, Buckaroo Banzai, Peter Weller, as I say, and just, it really is fantastic. You've got the story, which is probably fairly simple but brilliantly done. On a sort of faraway planet, you've got these robotic devices which are first introduced to the planet to help the settlers and the scientists, but they get sentient life and start to evolve and grow. And what was sent out to protect the perimeters of the scientists in case there's any alien incursions, they become the threat, and they get trapped inside their own buildings by these almost sort of creature. Well, they are creatures. They do become creatures in their own right, but it's just brilliant, sort of evolving into these sentient beings. Excuse me. And you get these sort of dolls and almost people-like creatures that come out as well, and then towards the end almost completely replicating humans and other creatures. It's just so creepily stylishly done. Good stuff. And there's a sequel in 2009, Screamers 2, The Hunting, and there is a DVD double set of Screamers and Screamers 2 that you can pick up. Excuse me. So if you can't afford to get Screamers on Blu-ray, go hunt out that Screamers 2 2-set DVD. I think you still pick it up reasonably well, probably about £5. It's a really good one to have. I've got that. I won't be letting it go because I'm going to be keeping both. I mean, it's that good. But brilliant stuff. Do let me know what your thoughts are on 101 Films. Tell me what titles you've got, what you recommend, what you've enjoyed here. Hopefully more than one or two. And just, you know, have a great time. I can't recommend all of these titles enough. Really looking forward to sitting down again with Screamers, that's for sure. Till next time, thank you very much as always for watching, really appreciate it. Hope that you've had the time to spend. This one's turned into a 30-minute video, way too long, but hopefully full of some nice movies, little tidbits, and good stuff all round. Thank you for staying the distance, really appreciate your time, always welcome all of you every time, really appreciate it. Take care everybody, see you all soon, bye for now.